Hey, what is it you're thankful for? Are you thankful? Or are you too busy not being thankful to be thankful? There's a few things I've noticed. First off, there's so much that we can be dissatisfied with. It's super easy, doesn't take much skill. There was a poem I learned as a kid that I think my parents were trying to beat something into my brain, and it talked about how these construction workers, they have skilled laborers, but the demolition team has no skilled laborers and no skill is required. All they need is a common laborer to destroy, but it takes a real talent and skill to build. And I think that gratitude and thankfulness is one of those opportunities we have where we can build something amazing, but it's something that isn't tangible, but it's something just as real. And that gratitude, it's a feeling. And then when we express it, it becomes our reality. And when it becomes a reality, it lightens everyone around us and it just creates this happier place to be. Nothing has to change. You can have the exact same circumstances, but when we look at it from a gratitude standpoint, everything shifts from our perspective, and it's amazing to see that happen. Now, I wanted to film this one, me laying in a beanbag. So this is one of the old love sacks. For anybody who knows, they were super popular a long time ago, and I really love beanbags, and then I really love my banana shirt. And I had somebody that saw me wearing my banana shirt the other day, and they're like, man, you're making a statement. I don't know what the statement is, but you're definitely making a statement. And I think it's a little more simplistic than that. I really love bananas. They're delicious. And like, who doesn't love a banana shirt, right? Makes everybody happier, makes everyone's day better. And it's that simple. And gratitude does that same thing. So for me, my banana shirt lightens my day, and I think pretty much everyone who sees it, it makes their day a little bit better. How could it not? So whoever you are, you're a pure genius. Whoever made this shirt, you're awesome. Thank you for making the banana shirt. But going back to gratitude, it's so easy for us to look for the problems. It doesn't take any skill. And when we're looking for problems, it actually drags us down. I know that a couple of years ago, I was in a situation where I had a medical issue happen and I was no longer able to walk. Physically, the muscles weren't firing right, and then the pain levels were high enough that I couldn't really sit. It makes very basic functions nearly impossible, and I could not walk, and my 2-year-old at the time thought it was the greatest thing ever. And I remember it was around Christmas time, and I was laying there staring at a Christmas tree. I was in too much pain, and I physically couldn't get up into a bed, so they laid a mattress down, and it was in the family room of my home. And I'm laying there looking at this Christmas tree. I was in too much pain to sleep. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. My body was just racked with pain. I'd experienced greater pain than that because the pain from this at one point was so severe that I couldn't maintain consciousness. But at that time I was just in pain, and I'm looking at the Christmas tree, and I was just thinking about my life, thinking about my family, thinking about a number of different things, and it hit me really hard. Even with all the pain that I was in, even with all the problems, I couldn't walk, I was having trouble running my business, having trouble functioning in a lot of areas, and a lot of things that mattered I couldn't help in the home. Obviously, I can't drive. All of that, and yet how good was my life? And I started just thinking about all those things that were great and amazing, but then even that whole experience was one, it allowed me to change for the better. So experiences, good or bad, won't necessarily make us a better person, but it's the approach that we take to it and what we take away from it and how we shift because of it that truly determines whether that was a great experience, a good experience, neutral or bad experience. And I think that even the worst experiences we have in our life can be building blocks for us to create a better version of ourselves. And gratitude is one of these key pieces. Thankfulness is one of those key pieces that allows us to see the world in a light that allows any experience, anything, to have a positive spin and allows us to lighten the world. I know a good friend of mine, anytime they get stopped at a red light, they start verbalizing things they're grateful for. They call them thankful lights. They don't call them stoplights, they're thankful lights. And while the light is red, they're supposed to think of things they're thankful for. Had someone else that said that when they got out of bed in the morning, when the left foot took the first step, they said thank. When the right foot hit, they said you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And they walked to the bathroom, thank you, thank you, thank you. Do all their things, and that whole time they're saying thank you over and over and over. I know Joe Vitale's written several books and has really dedicated a lot of his life to this, so thank you, Joe, for what you've done for this. But he he in Zero Limits talks about this concept of saying thank you is one of the 4 key things that we should be doing to reset who we are and to approach the world with this fresh set of mind and vision and approach, and it allows us to be a better person than we ever could be without it. And different religions all have thankfulness as a part of it, and I'm so thankful that as a country we have an opportunity once a year to stop and say thank you. And that's coming up real soon. But in the meantime, between now and then, there's a number of different things you could do to recognize what you're thankful for. But I'd encourage you to start thinking every single day of something you're thankful for, and maybe post it somewhere. Maybe it's on social media. Maybe you're just going to post it on your refrigerator. Maybe you're going to write it down and hide it somewhere. It doesn't matter. The idea is, let's all, for what's left of this month of November, begin expressing gratitude. And what I think would happen if everyone in America did that, if we all took the time to start expressing gratitude, it would shift everything. It would shift the way we interact with each other. It would shift the way politicians try to control us. It would shift the way that even politicians behave, which would be amazing. It would shift the way that people interact. We'd start treating people with more respect. We'd have, I think, less crime. We'd help those in need a little bit better. So many positive things would come if we as a country took the month of November and started expressing gratitude internally and externally to those around us. So I'm challenging myself and all of us to do this month of November, start looking for ways to express gratitude, and then to have the courage to verbalize it.